So, guys, we're gonna bang out, maybe a dozen fan questions, and then we'll roll out of this. Is that cool? Jesse, I know you're busy. I'm probably costing the King Tone Guitars production company so much money. All right, guys.
Good.
Okay. So the age-old question that everybody wants to know: how would you set the Tube Screamer?
Aside.
Yeah!
Look at Tucker.
No, I am totally joking. I love the Tube Screamer. It's a key. It's a key pedal. I wouldn't knock it at all.
All right,
I'm totally joking.
Let's answer that question by saying this is not the deciding factor in SRV Tone.
No.
Okay, we can all collectively agree on that.
Yeah, it's not it's one of those links. It's one of those links in that long chain. Well, another day we'll probably have to talk about maybe what all those links are.
Yeah.
But
right.
Yeah, the Tube Screamer is definitely in that link for sure.
So yeah. if I was playing with a cranked amp, tell me what you guys would change with that.
I would turn the tone. I wouldn't have the tone up like that. I would have it depending. I really like what an amp does when you really cut the difference. Yeah, that's probably what I would do.
Noon? We'll call it noon. That's what Jesse David would do.
That's pretty close to what I'd do, yeah.
Philip says?
It depends obviously on so many different scenarios, but
this guy. You like this.
No, only on the 808. That's where it ends up at the end of the night. Yeah. But I would usually start. I would say everything on noon, and I would start there, and then dial in from what I need. If I need less gain or I need a little more jump, but otherwise start everything up at noon, and adjust to suit from there.
I think we're talking as well. If you're talking 1990 tones, I think he had the gain right up. And the volume kind of middle, like you're talking about. Whereas in let's say 83, it was more you just using as a boost. So maybe the drive right down and the volume right up. So I think I personally think, and I don't know that for a fact, but I personally feel like in the 1990, I can hear the drive from the Screamer kind of doing a lot of the work.
Interesting.
Have you found your tone? Or are you still looking for more?
Okay. Never. I think I may have found the tone I wanted for maybe like 30 seconds a few years ago, but it comes and goes. I think as soon as you get the tone you're looking for, you suddenly it's like going on a walk and you think there's the top of the mountain, and you get to the top and then oh no, it's the next ridge. So I think it's just it's like a continuous thing. You're always looking for something either more character or more expressive or more sustained or cleaner, or you're always looking for something. And that's what's cool about it, because I don't think a listener always wants to listen to the same tone.
Yeah.
They want to listen to variations. They want to listen to different things, That's my feeling.
Yeah, totally agree with that. 100%. Work in progress, always adjusting, always. And I think it's informed, for me anyway, it's informed by my own personal journey and, where I'm at, how I'm feeling, what I'm learning, what I'm letting go of. And I think that really it's constantly changing. So just try to do the best that I can each day and get it to a place where I'm as happy as I can be and try to learn new things. And oh, cool, I like this right now. And maybe a year from now, I won't like that at all. So I think it's really just, what's feeling inspiring right now in the moment, and try to go in that direction as far as I can. But it's the never ending story. You're always looking, always, yeah. I'm always searching.
It's like if you were playing, if you were a guitar player in Aerosmith and you needed to have that Aerosmith set every night, you would want your setup to be bulletproof every single night, But when you're talking about being influenced by so many guys, some days you want a little bit of Albert Collins, some days you want a little bit of Albert King. So it's just always trying new things and searching for something new. That's what I go about it.
I guess the difference, if you're improvising, which obviously all three of us kind of base our playing on that, you need to feel inspired by the tone. So I think
I know 3 licks. 2 of them I got from you. 1 of them I got from Philip.
I got all of mine from Philip, so I don't know where.
Oh, I got all mine from you guys. So yeah, okay. Well,
Something's going wrong. Something's going to implode here.
What are some elements from SRV's tone that you've applied to your own?
Wow. Okay, I'll jump in. I would say that the wild goose chase, because that's really what it is, right? You know, if you're trying to get to that Stevie tone, because it's so much the man. That's why it sounds like that. But I think the quality of tone, for sure, is there's like a quality, an openness, a sound. I think I heard Eric Clapton describe the sound as being like sounding like you could really hear the string in the wood in the tone. And I think that's right on. You know, I think trying to get a little bit more of that sound, the sound of the yeah, just a bit more of an organic sound, a little bit maybe a little funky at times too. I don't want it to be super slick and perfect. You know, it's got to have a little bit of edge on it. And just leave, you know, enough there that it can get totally wild, like if you know, if you needed to. But I think, you know, honestly, just, I mean, you know, it's like I said, wild goose chase, because it's out there. So I got to just find it for myself in the best way that I can for what I'm doing. And I think just listening to that as an example, whether it's, you know, again, we've mentioned Albert Collins a lot, but he's another player with my absolute favorite tone. And so I think just listening to that as much as I can and trying to find things that work for, you know, that work for me in taking that. And so it's a bit vague and an ambiguous answer, but honestly, I think, you know, just the quality of sound, honestly. I mean, same thing, if you listen to Eddie Van Halen, it's like, that's a quality of tone there. Like, what's going on here? Even if you don't play anything like him, respecting it, learning, what can I learn from that? But certainly with Stevie, the quality of tone is unequaled.
Yeah, I mean, I in a way, you know, for a guitar player, your tone is your voice. You know, we get to choose to a certain extent. We get to choose the voice, and I agree. A lot of kind of weird words get thrown around to try and describe it, but I think woody, you know, like almost hear the sound of the actual guitar body. If you put your ear up to a guitar and play, there's a certain resonance and quality to the actual body of the guitar, and in some ways, for me anyway, you know, try and get that to come through either the amp or to the recording in some way. So it's definitely that, and I think another thing I could hear in his sound a lot was the variation. So he'd often use more than one amp. So they're not just two amps just set the same, just for more volume. You know, one might be set a little bit more distorted, maybe a little bit more muffled, and then the one that was cleaner and brighter might be the top end, and that can kind of give you the sustain of a more distorted sound, but the clarity of a cleaner sound. So you kind of, I would say what I took was mixing those two things together. So kind of take the good things from one sound and you know, and the same from another sound and put them together so that the amps are different, or pedals, even using pedals together. So you're using you're trying to get the sustain from a more distorted sound, but the clarity from a clean sound, put them together. That's probably what I'd say.
I have a question for Jesse. This one is for Jesse. Jesse, how did you take inspiration from Stevie to create your unique pedals? And we can talk about something specific too that we geeked on about at your house. But so basically, yeah, you just asked how you took inspiration.
You know, obviously Stevie had an incredible tone, and I was always searching for something either like that or as good as that. And I think that journey just led me to experiment and try so many different things. And one thing I could always hear in his sound, there was a certain bite, a certain clarity in the note bends and in the vibrato. And that's one thing I searched for years and years. I just couldn't find it. One day I kind of stumbled on something just small. It was just a small glimpse of like, that's it. And that's eventually what became the Kingtone switch.
So part of that, the Kingtone switch there, we kind of messed with some stuff because we were both suckers for 1985, the 1985 Tokyo tone.
Oh, incredible! Yeah, incredible.
And Philip, I know you're a fan of all tones, but that to me, that tone was just fat and juicy. It was like a nice steak, and I remember talking to Jesse about it, and he was like, he kind of laughed, and you were like, "That's my favorite tone. That's what I've been trying to design the King Tone switch with." You made me a preset. Am I allowed to talk about this?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, I basically
you
gave you number two in a so you could hide it in the guitar in a
yeah,
way.
oh yeah, you gave me number 2 because I haven't been able to listen. No, I'm just kidding. But you gave me a preset
Yeah,
King Tone switch. That way I could just lay it under the guard. And
yeah.
that's if I'm having a moment where I'm really trying to dial in some Stevie or shoot out some speakers, and I want to hear the most that I, my meek uh self can get. I use the number 2 setting on the King Tone switch. So it's not a plug, but if anybody wants some of that really fat kind of round squealing tone, I would recommend the King Tone switch there for just for what you did. You kind of broke it down and you showed me exactly what it was doing, and hats off
It's one
to
of
you.
those things that's. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things. When I discovered it later on in playing, and it's I'd always searched for that sound. But it was one of those times I wish I could have gone back to my sort of past self and said, "Oh, you need to do this and this," because I think I struggled a lot at a lot of shows because I was trying to get it but couldn't get it. Um, so that was definitely
Yeah, that well,
inspiration.
I'll co-sign on that because it's a great, and it's like I said, it's affordable, and it's awesome. It does the job. Philip, your SRV rhythm tone, is it mostly amp, or do you use the tube screamer for rhythm?
Both are true. I think it just depends on the whatever is happening in that particular moment. Tube screamer can work great while on, adjusting your volume and tone if you need to, but also a lot of rhythm stuff without it, for sure.
Yeah. And for the most part, I mean, are you trying to tune in what you're looking for just through the amp? And if you can't use the tube screamer, then you'll use the tube screamer to get you there.
Yeah, for rhythm stuff, not yeah, for rhythm stuff, I'd be just kind of trying to rely on the amp a lot. I think so.
Yeah.
Do you
Okay.
use Philip? Do you use any like always on pedals? Is that something that you do kind of maybe for rhythm sounds or stuff like that?
Not, you know what? And thanks for asking. Not so much. I mean, sometimes maybe like a fuzz face type pedal will stay on for a song or something, and just ride it. But for the most part, I just, would just use it really to kind of lift something for a heavier riff or like a solo section or something. Then I would step on a pedal. But otherwise, I just try to use kind of what the amp is giving, and then of course working the other pedal that we're all talking about is the volume knob, right? Is
Mm,
like the difference between 7 and 8 or 9, or is it's like you've got 3 different pedals sometimes, right? So I think
right.
also using that with the amps, you're trying to, it's kind of a use of all those parts at once, trying to get them to work in conjunction with one another.
Whew, the big one. You guys ready for this one? How did Stevie connect his tube screamer? Before his wah or after the wah? Dun dun dun.
Wasn't there? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to my ears, it it was before the wire. For what I hear, that's how it was, and I hear that sometimes with Hendrik, but not always. I can kind of hear it when it's before and when like if there's a fuzz before or a fuzz after, or with Stevie, that's what I can hear. But again, I wasn't there, like Phil said. It's
No.
just what my ears are hearing is
Yeah.
the wire later on in the chain, but with a broken up amp, it's a very different thing. If you got a clean amp, you definitely put it before. But because the wire then it's a bit like having both. If you have a broken up amp, it's a bit like having, if you put it after the tube screamer, it's like having the little bit of overdrive after it and before it. That's my thought.
Okay.
I'm with you, Jesse.
I did a shameless plug here. I did a video on SRV pedal board, and whatever it was in the 85 picture, I replicated, and it's still, I think that at volume 2 the wah reacts differently, and you know. All right. What do you do when you have no inspiration to play guitar? Both guys. Philip, you're
You-
first.
Who's Jesse? You want to go?
Play video games.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Nice. Yeah, I love it. I say listen to Albert Collins. That's it. Every time. He's the antidote for anything you're feeling. I think if you feel like you don't want to play and you listen to one song, you'll be playing all day. He's the guy every time. And of course Stevie too. Anybody that really makes your blood pump faster. I think your heartbeat faster. It's just immerse yourself in that again and get back to the practice room.
Yeah. Have you heard that Albert Collins? I don't know if it was an official release, but it has like 40 songs on it or something. And they're all like kind of like just these short little grooves. And it's incredible.
It's the Cobra recordings. They're all like little vamps.
Yeah. I ain't drunk. I'm just drinking. It's just a genius.
All right.
Yeah.
Philip, what are some of your non-blues influences?
Non-blues influence would be, I think everything's got a little blues in it, right? I mean, if it's got some feel, but excuse me. I really like Audio Slave as a band. They're one of my favorite rock bands of the last however many years. I thought they were just pretty hard to beat. I listened to, Mark Knopfler could be considered somewhat bluesy. So, he's one of my favorite players for sure. I like to listen to a lot of different like roots reggae music. I listen to a lot of even classical music and sometimes even like Louis Armstrong. But again, there's so much blues in all this music. So I don't know if I'm getting away from it. How about you?
Yeah, I love John Medeski. He plays in Medeski, Martin and Wood, and I kind of think of him almost as like the Hendrix of Hammond organ players. And he's just I got to see him play as a surprise actually once, and he's just surrounded by guitar amps and pedals, and just such a great player. If you're a guitar player, you can borrow a lot of ideas from him. And then a lot of kind of players. Players like Martin Miller, for instance, who's a very different style, not really blues at all, but from a guitar player's point of view, there's a lot that can be learned from listening to someone like that. So everyone, from classical to, to rock to, heavy metal, it's all got stuff. If you listen carefully, you can, even if immediately you think, I don't like this style of music. When you start listening to it, you start to hear the subtleties and you start to hear that, what it's about. And so you can always take inspiration, I think, from everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We got two left, guys. Will we ever see a Philip SAYCE and King Tone collaboration?
Sure. I'm open to all the possibilities. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it, but obviously huge respect to Philip and respect for Philip, and so if that, certainly
right back at you, my friend. Right back at you. Yeah. We'll take it offline and we'll chop it up. That's awesome. Thanks for asking.
Maybe it'll be like King Tone, Philip SAYCE, rollerblades. Yes. Totally unexpected.
But that's great. I'm in. I'm down. Let's roll.
That's a big gap in the market there.
Yeah.
Big gap in the market. What is something that the three of you have collectively learned from each other? I just learned that there's a big gap in the market for Philip SAYCE's signature rollerblades. So
yeah, that's not been done. Get on it.
Who wants to go first?
Philip.
Yeah, all right, I'll go. I think what I've learned is that there are kind people in the world, and that there are fellow friends that share the same enthusiasm and gratitude and love and respect for these artists. And today I know we're really focusing on Stevie Ray Vaughan, but for a lot of artists, and I think I think just realizing that there are really good people in this world, and particularly in the music business that are they're not out. They're. I think I just stay with what I said, that are good people, and I think that's really inspiring to know there are people that are doing this. You guys are doing this for your own reasons, for your own calling in each of us, but to also know that it's sort of like to have friends on the journey like this, to have like brothers on the journey that get that feeling, that get how sensitive all of this can be, at the same time how much it means to us, and each individually, but I think as well, in terms of music things. I mean, of course, we all learn from each other, right? You hear somebody, if I hear Jesse, if I hear you play, or Nick, and I hear you playing and I like something that you've done, then I'll try to remember that when I'm playing and say, wow, I don't know exactly what he did, but it kind of led me over here. And then maybe I can find my own way with it. So I would say inspiration from you both. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from with it.
Yeah, I hear you completely. I think playing guitar can be quite insular, and you can get very lost in your own sort of little world in a way. And it's really nice to meet people like yourself and Nick, who you realize that you've been on the same journey. You've been listening to even taking very different things from the same sources, but you've been on that same journey. It's nice to kind of realize you're not completely on your own. But certainly, as far as playing wise, I mean, I've often heard both of you guys play things that I think, oh wow, okay, I've never tried it like that before. That's really cool. I'm going to sort of borrow that. So yeah, there's definitely been things.
Well, I texted you guys earlier, and just not earlier, but a few days ago, I looked up to both of you guys, and now it's just weird how after this whole journey and having similar maybe experiences or passions, I call you guys close friends. And I think that kindness is a big thing. Both of you guys have always been kind, and maybe helped me work on myself to be better. You're both older than me, and your guidance in a lot of my life and wisdom over the years has helped me get to the best place that I'm at now. So, I mean, I just true friendship as far as a person, and yeah, man, I'll aspire to be like you guys in that way to the end of time. So that's what I've taken
nice
from you guys. I mean,
thank you.
Well,
the cool thing is, you've set this up today, and you always share, all of your knowledge, whether it's on YouTube or with anyone who wants to know it. So I think, that's what it's all about. It's not about keeping secrets. It's not about, because we're all trying, we're trying to play better. We're trying to get tones. And I think it's cool to help people. There's no secrets. It's just cool to just share it and all go on that journey together.
You guys are just, really awesome individuals, and, iconic musicians. And there's a lot of people who are trying to, they're looking at Jesse Davey and Philip SAYCE like we look at Stevie Ray Vaughan, and that shows something. And I thank you guys for being here today.
Thank you.
It means a lot.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
anytime.
Absolutely, Nick. Really appreciate you putting this together, and thank you for the invitation. It's been really great chatting with both of you fine gentlemen today.
Yeah, likewise.
People want to dive into Philip SAYCE and see what's happening. There's some merch. What can they do? Where can they go and get all your deets?
Best place to go is Spotify, socials, or philipsayce.com.
Excellent. And Jesse, you as well. What's happening right now with you and King Tone?
Well, King Tone Guitar / rollerblades. That's what's happening. We've got it going on.
Square wheels.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah. Fuzzy rollerblades.
Like hoverblades. Do we have hoverblades yet? We could
Are they there? Do we have them yet?
Yeah, we got to do it. We got.
I'll get on it. I'm sure it's just need a flux capacitor or something else.
Yeah.
I'll get it.
That's no good.
It's funny too, because before you joined, I was saying, Philip was just laughing because I was like, this guy could build the best pedal out of some duct tape and an empty can of tuna fish, but somehow he cannot get on the Zoom meeting. I need the link.
I'm so sorry. Well, yeah, I'm here. I made it.
Yeah.
I think
so
this is the right meeting, right?
Yes.
And looking fabulous. I got to say, it's great over there,
This
man.
guy set the camera up and everything.
Well, we live right next to each other. Actually, if it wasn't for COVID, we probably could have done it in the same room. But
that's good. Well, how about that, guys? When I come to LA and this all blows over, the three of us will get together for a sit down. We'll do this again. Can we sign on to that?
It's a date.
Got it. Yes,
all
please.
Right. All right. I just want to thank Philip and I want to thank Jesse. You guys, thank you to everybody on the YouTube channel for checking this out. And we will talk very soon. And remember, your quest for Srv Tone is at the tip of your fingers. You just got to find it. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks. Bye.
Jesse just. All right. Bye, Jesse. Thank you, guys.
I'm out.
Peace.
Right. I'm joking. I'm still here. I'm only joking.
Yeah, no. Later.